Well, celebrating its 50th anniversary this year, is that true? The 54th Nedbank and Old Mutual Budget Speech Competition continues to promote the principles of sustainable economic development and grow economic excellence in South Africa, with a focus on young black university students. Now, launched in 1972, the finalists comprise 10 undergraduates and 10 postgraduate students from universities across the country who submit essays on 2 topics that engage critically on real economic issues. This year's winners will be announced on the 25th of February, which coincides with this year's 2026 budget speech. So to tell us more, we're joined in studio by Isaac Matshego, who of course is the Nedbank Senior Economist. Isaac, I know my numbers aren't great, but I don't think it's 50 years. I imagine it's 54.
54.
Thank you so much. I read that and I'm thinking 50? Definitely not. That's 54 if it's 1972. Yeah. Amazing to see how long this has actually been going on for. And it's still so relevant, but how it must have changed over the years.
Absolutely. I mean, we've modernized it as the times have changed. I mean, just with the prizes, back in the days, the prize used to be overseas study, but we've seen that, that can be achieved locally. So we've changed the price to cash. Even students will prefer that. Some of them have got debts to pay for, their junior degrees or their first years and all that. Yeah. But yes, we've modernized it to, suit the modern student.
Yeah, indeed. And you need to do that. That has to be done because everything has changed so much. It really has over the years, and we notice that more and more and more. How does the competition work, though? Just remind us.
Well, it's open to everyone who's registered for an economics or economics-related degree at a recognized South African university. Not only for black participants, by the way, it's open to everybody. So basically what happens is that the students start by submitting an essay. This year's topic for the undergraduates was focusing on the impact of import tariffs and whether those, would help emerging economies like South Africa in particular to develop. Then the postgrad students looked at the inflation targeting issue. We were anticipating the revision of the inflation target to 3%, so the topic was based on that, and we got some pretty good entries. And after we get the essays, the filter panel or the first markers will select a top 10 in each category, and then next week they'll be in Cape Town for the finals, where the top 3 will be selected.
Amazing. So, I mean, what are the criteria that you look to get these selected? Because, I mean, as you say, this is across the whole of South Africa.
Absolutely. The essays are marked anonymously, so the students enter just with a number. There's a system where they'll put their full details, then it generates an entry number for them. When the first markers see the script, it's just a number. They don't know who the script is from. Then after the semifinals, the first round, we've got what we refer to as the semifinals. Top 20 in each category are selected. Then you've got adjudicators, of which I'm one. We determine the top 10 in each category, and that's a group that gets hosted in Cape Town next week.
It's quite incredible how relevant the topic is for this year. So for the undergraduates, it's called Trade Protectionism in the form of higher import tariffs to stimulate job creation in developing economies, with a particular focus on South Africa. And then I think you mentioned it was the postgraduate category, focusing in on inflation targeting in South Africa, evaluate the optimal lower target implementation, timing, and international comparisons. Sorry, had to read those ones because that's nice and technical that you've given them, but you must get some incredibly interesting perspectives coming from these graduates.
Absolutely. Every single year we get great entries. I mean, there's just a platform, a channel for young, active minds, to get involved in the national debate, and in this case related to macroeconomic issues. And, it's quite interesting and also fascinating that every single year we get great ideas from the entrance, because they go out there, they do the research.
Yeah.
You know, you can see the effort that goes into entering the competition, and you know, we get to, you know, basically apply some of their recommendations.
Yeah. If we look at you know, how the minister always asks for tips and all of those things from the public, does he by any chance get his hands onto some of these ideas and essays and read them?
Well, not until at the gala dinner, because what happens...
Because I see he's there at the
on
gala dinner, but
evening,
that's when the winners are announced. So I'm wondering if he gets tips and ideas from these young minds.
He gets to interact with you know, the finalists, i.e. the top 10 from each category before the gala dinner, and this happens on the day of the national budget, which will be next week Wednesday this time around, and they get to talk to the minister, not only the Minister of Finance, you know, other ministers will also be there, the DG of Finance, deputy ministers, and even from other departments. So they get to interact with the senior government officials and share all these ideas.
I can see.
Yeah.
I mean, we're looking at some overlay from previous competitions, and I can see them talking to the minister, and I mean, that's really exciting for them. It's a wonderful moment. But have you ever sort of seen, looking back at previous competitions, whether, you know, students' proposals have actually gone and sort of brought about real policy shifts? I mean, that their ideas actually came into reality from what some of them had written looking at economic policy.
Well, we see this happening all the time. You know, I cannot sort of assign some of the policy changes to a particular entrant or a group of entrants, but what they always recommend, you know, like will always be out there. I mean, in the past we've had many topics, and you know, we choose the topics for the entries based on our experience. And for instance, the 3% a lower inflation target basically came from ideas in the past entries. Yeah.
Obviously, it's not the first time that you're part of the judging panel. This has been something that you've been doing for a while. But if we can look at prior competitions, what separates the winning essays from the rest? I mean, is it things like strong empirical grounding, political realism, clear funding methods? What is it?
Sure. I mean, what we look out for is, for instance, when we start with an effort, we encourage the students just to write a simple academic essay, you know, properly referenced and all that. Don't plagiarize, you know, because we do run it through, you know, couple of systems which will pick up other people's ideas that were not
AI,
acknowledged.
I imagine.
AI is starting to become a big problem.
Big problem, yeah.
Yeah, but you know, we've got systems to check out for that. So we just want a simple, right at the start, a simple academic essay, of course, with your own ideas. That always stands out, you know, sort of gives them a bit of an advantage. Then, a day before the national budget speech, we have the finals, and there we get to interview the entrants, you know, the top 10 from each category, because we got to test, you know, whether the essays were their own work or, you know, whether they got a lot of outside assistance. And, you know, we just get an average score, which determines the top 3. But I will stress that, you know, just being in the top 10 is a great achievement.
No doubt it is. And I mean, I'm interested to hear from you in terms of looking at these young minds and the talent that's coming through, because we always worry that, you know, perhaps maybe there's not enough focus on mathematics and sciences and these kind of skills that we so desperately need. From what you're seeing coming through, how's it looking?
Yeah, you know, like the challenge we sort of faced recently is why exclusively to economic students? But what we basically say is we want to encourage the development of the economic study in South Africa, and also, you know, skills development in the policy making, economic policy making field. But we have, for instance, gotten in accountants, we have gotten in the finance, you know, people with more a mathematics/science background instead of purely economics. And some of these people have gone on to achieve great things in South Africa, you know, captains of industry, both in the public sector
Amazing.
and the private and public sectors have been through this competition.
Amazing. So I've just been told by my producer that we will be speaking to the winners the next morning on the show as we come
Great.
to you live from the budget speech. So I'm looking forward to meeting them and quizzing those beautiful brains.
Absolutely. It gets fascinating every single year.
And it's amazing. Okay, good. Isaac, thank you. We'll see you down at the budget. And of course, that's the big news story for next week. It's the budget speech that will be happening next week. And this competition that's now in its 54th year, we'll of course be there, and not at the event, but we'll be there at the budget speech, and we'll be able to speak to some of the winners there. Isaac Matshego is, of course, Nedbank Senior Economist, and he's wrapping up this Friday edition of Morning Live, and we really look forward to seeing you. Please join in on the weekend edition of the program with Liesl and the team, and we'll see you back on Monday. Have a beautiful weekend. Bye-bye, everyone.